Get the latest Zacks research, analysis, and rankings on exchange-traded funds in Exploring ETFs. There's 3 ETFs that you should be keeping an eye on this earnings season, and Eric Dutram, our ETF strategist, wants you to know about them. So I invited him here so that he could tell us more about them. First of all, why should, because there's a buy, a hold, and a sell, right? So why should investors be keeping an eye on a buy, a hold, and a sell instead of all buys?
Well, I think it's important to take a holistic view of the market and also look at some industries that you might want to avoid this earnings season, and then some middle of the road ones that could go either way really this time around. So It's important to just look beyond the buys and see which ones might be having a bit of trouble and could be sending us a signal about how the market might be heading as we push further into 2013.
Okay, got it. The buy is in the telecom services industry.
That's right. I looked at ETFs that had a buy rank and also a Zacks industry rank that was in the top 10 to 25%. Okay. And I got the telecom services sector. Mm-hmm. That's VOX. And this is an ETF that has a very favorable Zacks industry rank and a favorable Zacks ETF rank. And it's got a low expense ratio, great dividend above 3%. And so, it could have a pretty good earnings season if the Zacks industry rank holds up here.
Okay. The hold is in environmental services. Now, that's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, that was right in the middle for the Zacks industry rank. Either from the 60 or so industries we have, it was right in the middle there. And it also has a Zacks ETF rank of 3, or hold. So it could kind of go either way this earnings season. And the ETF, it has kind of low volume but strong momentum heading up into this time period. So it's going to be a test to see if it can keep pushing with that momentum higher as we go further into earnings season, or if some of the bigger names like Waste Management and the smaller guys like American Ecology will be able to carry this ETF higher once they report their earnings.
Okay, so are you going to be, if in these first 2 categories anyway, are you going to be keeping an eye on what the different companies in these industries guide?
Definitely. I think that's going to be a huge part of it, especially with the telecom space. It's going to be kind of a test now that Verizon and AT&T and there to see what's going to happen and how that's going to filter into the services sector, which is really what the VOX focuses in on. So that'll be key for the guidance. The environmental service, it might be more of a play on emerging markets. It's going to kind of depend, see what their guidance is for the rest of the year.
Okay. The final category is the sell category, oil equipment.
Yes, this is a very interesting one because oil, for pretty much all the industries, was rated in the bottom 3rd for the Zacks industry rank. And then this ETF, IEZ, was also a sell. So it's not really looking good for oil. And obviously you think, hey, if the economy is going to be kind of coming around, it's going to be really good for oil. But this really hasn't been the case, at least evidenced by the Zacks industry rank and the Zacks ETF rank. So, it could be kind of an uncertain period here for the oil market.
Okay, well, maybe as we progress through the months here, we can, when we get to the middle of the year, you can give us a halftime report on how these all fared out.
Definitely.
All right, do you own any of them?
I do not.
Okay, you can check out other articles that Eric writes on our website, Zacks.com, by going to the home page and scrolling down until you get to the ETF module at the bottom of the home page, and that'll take you right to the ETF homepage, and that's where you'll find more of Eric's articles. With Eric Dutram, I'm Terry Ruffalo.